G'day everyone, welcome to the Opal Mills channel. Here, today we are going to work with some of this stuff. And there's a bit of a story behind this one. So a friend of mine has a friend that came across this while putting in a road up at Minterby back in the day gone by. And they put the grader straight through it, looked back and saw, well, most of what was in here, and put it in a jar. And between the two people that put it in the road, they split the parcel, and this is what's left of this lot. Now, I've had a look through all this, and I'll go through it with you, but it's slightly disappointing, but I can see the potential on what's in here, what we can do with it. So I'll tip it out and yeah, come back. There we go. So this is quite a large parcel, so I'm going to zoom in a bit, but this is in a quite a large box. There we go. Some of it sort of, yeah, it'll have to be sliced up and seen what can be done with it, but there's a lot of this from where it got hit. It's cracked and fractured and shattered, and there might be a few little stones that can come out of it, but I reckon this would be great for doublet material, what can be salvaged. There might be a few stones that can be cut. Be a challenge. It's a nice flat bar though. It's pretty cool. But yeah, when you see it dry, you can see the fractures, cracks that are plaguing it. In there might be a clean part, which is all we need for even a doublet. So even this is just fractured through there. Through there. Flip around this side. It's not too bad, so maybe somewhere in there's a less fractured part. But yeah, plenty of material here for doublets, I'm thinking. And some nice solid enough pieces that might get some stones, as long as it, yeah, even straight through there. But that, and there. Anyway, we'll get into it and we'll see what can be salvaged. But there's some really pretty stuff in here, and I think there's some black backing and yeah, turn it into doublets. There's plenty of doublet material here, and if I can get around these cracks, cut it in a way where I can get some even, you know, just little stones. There's some really pretty stones there. Imagine that with a black backing. Unfortunately that cracked through there, but this side's okay maybe. So we'll tidy a few bits up. Look at that. Okay. Where's the rest of it? I want this side. Yeah, we'll see what can be done with it. Fractures, fractures, fractures. Left, right and centre. I just hope that they actually had some pieces that were, yeah, not damaged by the find. But I guess they weren't expecting it. It would have been a nice surprise if any of it survived. So I'll pick a few bits out anyway and see what they tidy up to be. If we can get a solid, we'll take it. Otherwise, we can go for doublets. Okay, here's our handful of hope. What I'm going to do, I'll start on a 150 grit and just take the sand out of these, and then we'll go and shine a light through them to see if we can map out some cracks and some clear spots to be able to slice and dice into some triplets and maybe some solids. down. Put our 150 grid on. Easy as that. Okay, so get the light. We're going to look through these and see all these little cracks and fractures. And we're going to see if there's any bits like that might be able to be a small doublet. As long as there's no further cracks throughout that bit. Things like that. So we'll make the most of what we can out of this. And if there's a solid in there, I'll definitely be cutting it. But probably can't see as much as I can with the extra cracks. There's one down here. Come around this side one here. You can see through the bottom here. So yeah, looks like there might be a nice solid in there though. Under there. Somewhere. It's a nice blue. Gorgeous. It's actually really bright in person. So yeah. Anyway, I'll get through a lot of this, figure out these cracks and where they're running and which way I can slice it. I mean, usually there's only one way, flat across the bar, but I might have to go cross grain on some, see what happens. And see what solids we can get. So I'll start mapping some cracks and then we'll get to doing some sawing. Might as well quickly show you what I'm doing when I say mapping some cracks. So first off with a bit of a dry stone, and when I see a crack like this one down the bottom here, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's a bit of an arc. Comes around like that. So I'm aware that crack's there. There's one running through the center here. But it doesn't run straight. Come around the end, sort of runs down into the corner here. Can't tell if that's a split through there or not. We'll put a line. Might be worth just taking the top off of that in the end. It's split that one in two and see what size pieces come out of it. So yeah, mapping out cracks is literally just going around all the cracks, highlighting them somehow. I'm just using a pencil, obviously, but whatever you got, texture, something that'll stay there long enough to. Another one through there, it'll split through there. They don't go all the way through, so if I can get through them with the saw, without too much damage, we'll be right. So there we go. Alright, so I've drawn some lines, marking out the floors, and with some of these, couldn't get the pencil to work, but there's fractures running this way, and the bars run that way. So I'm thinking I'm just going to slice the bars out, and then just get out the bits that aren't cracked. There's a crack running through there, so I might as well take that top off. Oop. Don't know main strength. Anyway, that made that easy. Might get a little stone off the bottom there. See what we can do. So yeah, I'm going to head over to the saw. I'll just get to slicing these up, which saves a bit of time. And I've also picked out a couple more little bits just to throw in the mix for some doublets. Okay, here's what we're left with. Some of these bits won't be much good. They'll break down into smaller, there we go, stones, because they're just fractured so badly. Yeah. Let's see what we can do with it though. I'm sure once I've stuck them down, some of them are gonna still need to be sawn across breaks. So I'm gonna head over to the wheel and thin these out and pick a top and bottom, which size the face. Some of this would have almost been good for solids, but when you look at through the side, yeah, there's so many more fractures and so forth. So yeah, doublets it is. Unfortunately, but oh well, be good for doublets. Alright, so this is a pretty clean piece. There's no fractures left in it, but this has to come out the back yet. And that, so I'm just going to take the back down a little bit more, but I think that'll be the front. Look fantastic with some backing. So I'll just continue doing this and yeah, come back in a bit. Alright, so I've really nicely sliced up some boulder opal, or ironstone anyway, there's not much opal on it, and faced it nicely, washed it clean, so it's just sitting here drying for a bit out in the sun. And I've got the other bits sliced up for the tops, faced those as well. So we're just going to go in and when they're dry, put them together. Okay, all set up. I've got some stir sticks, better cut them down. Isopropyl alcohol to clean the stones before we put the araldite on. Araldite. And colouring oxide for the blackening of the araldite. So, in my experience as a joiner, cabinet maker, if anyone else has had any experience, or in the textiles or any industry where you've ended up laminating, and you understand how important it is to have that surface clean, As it was explained to me when I first learnt, and I've told people since, one little spot of dust when you're laminate benchtop sort of thing, that'll leave like a 1-inch bubble in your laminate and it won't stick. It really disrupts the process. So I'm going to make sure all these are clean by getting some of these pre-cut by me dishcloth and just spraying it on basically straight up. And wiping any excess boulder dust. So I'd like to get that bond really well and free of any dust that could so this is on 220 grit. I'm not sure if you can see those arc scratch marks from the wheel, but that's a 260 grit. I lied. And same with these, and the araldite will fill all those little gaps so there won't be any bumps hopefully seen from either. So that's about as smooth as I was going to get it on that wheel, flat. If I use the pads to get it a bit smoother, it's sort of, being a pad rounds it more than flat. So just keep going with this for a minute and I'll come back in a sec once I've cleaned the whole bunch up. Alright, we've got some clean ones over here, and same with the boulder ironstone. Now, I'm pre-load this disposable fork with some powder. About that much, I reckon. I'll sit that down and try not to spill it. Okay. Now with the araldite, equal amounts and just enough to use before it starts setting on you. It's the last thing we need. So we need time to be able to mix it up with the oxide and get it on both pieces and get them all stuck before it sets. So we'll probably just do 1, 2, 3 lots here. So that's plenty. A stair stick. Oops, and there it goes. Dope. Oh, how am I going to do this? Some more. kind of already see the visible contrast between all these bits with this colour, and now they're on the black backing. So now they might stand a bit of a chance. So I'm going to go get these out in the sun, leave them out there for the rest of today, put them inside, then come back to them tomorrow when they're fully cured and cut them apart. Okay, so next day, these are all nice and set, really hard. Yeah, beautiful. So now I'm just going to go over to the saw and separate them. Actually, I'll quickly have a look. Should be some really nice colour in these. Hopefully, get some really decent stones under there. Put a wee of water over them. Yeah, there's some nice stones in that. Alright. So some of these are going to need further cutting down after into the little stones where there's good spots. Get rid of some of the still cracks and stuff in there, and as you can see there's a bit of a, it's not red, that's a fracture underneath on the bottom of the stone. Might make for an interesting stone though. But clear shatter mark. So I'm just going to tidy up the edges, clean the tops off, and have another look. off a bit. Give me dunking some water. You can see where the stones are and where the flaws are, where I'm going to cut some stones out of. How to avoid those spots there. It'll be a bit of a challenge. So there's a lot of small stones. I'll do a big stone with all that junk in it. It's unavoidable. And this is probably not the best bit to start with. Here's a nicer piece. So we get a really nice stone out of that one. Pretty sure that cleans up too. Doesn't go all the way down. We've got plenty of meat on the bone with these. So you get a really nice finish hopefully with the domes. As long as some of them, I noticed cleaning them up, they like to chip around the edges. So I don't know, maybe that was some of the extra flaws that are in it. And we'll see what we can do to tidy them up. That tip will probably go there and curve it down under that potch. That'd be a nice little stone right in there. Of course, these other bits, you know, they might as well get cut, but they're not going to need to focus. I'll stick to the quality bits for the video. But yeah, I'll probably cut them all. You did that one? No, I did that one. So there we go. That's a nice little flush in that one. Meant to be doublets. Should be a nice little stone in that one. Pretty sure that lights up at some stage. It's not going to do it for me at the moment. Great. Come on, stone. I was just telling them how beautiful you can be. Oh, it's a bit shy. It's a nice colour in that one. Just under that skin there should be a bit more. There's a bit of grey potch on the bottom, but no. Really nice stone in there. Nice oval even. Oops, sorry guys. So, yeah, that one's a bit, oops, made it in there. I don't know if that's just up the top, whether that can come out. Might be lucky. Go down a bit further and that'll disappear. So you can see it. Yep, it's up the top. Just runs in down here. Where are you? Just along there. So once I roll that down, that'll hopefully get out. Hopefully there's no more in it, and that potch as well. Should go. Nice colouring under there. So yeah, I'll get on with these, start marking them out and draw some shapes on them. Some lines to maybe cut. These are the ones that are going to get the slice. So this one's just going to take that corner off. That'll be an oval. These ones are where the faults and fractures run through and how I can get some little stones out. Same again, that bit there, little wedge there, triangle. It's no good. It's got the two things under it, but might get a stone off the side here, little oval there. See what happens in there. That one should be a nice little stone too. So let's get to cutting. Alright, so that's just increased the workload a bit. That one with a little slice out of it. It'll make a nice little oval. So we're going to go over, thin these backs down considerably and get them ready for a dot. Alright, so it's taken quite a bit to get these to this stage, as you can see. And this is a stage where it's like, yeah, I can stick it on a stick and cut it. And so now we get to see what's going to happen with these stones, whether they'll survive or some of them don't make the cut. And yeah, I'll pick a few out and we'll do a quick cut, I think. Okay, so I've cherry picked out a few. So I'm going to cut these ones. So I'll get them on the stick and head over to the wheel. Okay, over to the wheel. Thought I might start with this one. So I'm out, it's about 8 o'clock at night, and wow, it's raining pretty heavily and just hailed, and these just came flying in through the roof gaps. So when I say it's pretty cold out here, it's pretty cold out here. So it's slowed up for a couple of days and been very, very, very cold. Stones don't want to stay on the sticks and everything. Gosh, that's my chair. So there you go. It's very cold. Here's what the scene looks like outside the shed. Wow. Nice, mate. Hail balls. Have a hail ball fight. Yeah. Not quite snow, but I'll take it. Alright, finally, I've got them all done. You have no idea how many times I've topped these stones. Especially once you polish this side. It really doesn't like to stay stuck. was a bit of a nightmare. So I'll start down this end with the least favourable in my eyes. Unfortunately, can't tell if you can see under there that those little white spots are bubbles. So I obviously didn't get a proper seal. And this one's same sort of thing, but it's also got that. There's a crack in there somewhere. It's sort of polished in. Still nice sort of stones, don't get me wrong, but yeah, they're the worst two. Which is probably a good thing, saying something for the rest of it. So they've all definitely taken on a different shade of, where are we? Purple from what they were. It's markedly improved what they was. So yeah, now they're usable, as opposed to a bunch of shattered opal in a jar. It's probably not coming up on the camera the best. Let me zoom in a bit more. Let's see if that makes a difference. They're definitely much better in person. Yeah, the flash on this one's really nice, and it's not coming through on the camera. It's like a lightish blue. So these two could have been a pair, except one's got a bit more green in it. Not sure if it's going to come through yet. There we go, bottom right. This one's all blue. But could still be a nice pair for earrings or something. Some pendant stone. It's got some nice colour in it as well, in person. This one's my favourite. In person, this one is amazing. It's got a bit of sea green. It's not really coming through, it's coming through as a light blue and dark blue. But yeah, I like that one. It's that cold out here, it keeps fogging up on me. I couldn't get rid of that bit of potch there, but I didn't want to bring the stone down too much, otherwise it would have, yeah, it just would have lost too much. For what would have been salvaged, just wouldn't have been worth it. I think that's the one I first did. You would have seen cut. They've all been finished off well. Slightly tapered in at the bottom. That one's a nice one as well. It's got a couple of bits of impurities in it, but nothing that broached the surface. It's a nice stone on that one too. Ran out a bit on this end. Can't really see it. I think the boulder just pokes out underneath, but once the bezel's around that, you won't see that anyway. So that's fine. But yeah, quite a nice stone. And this one's sort of came through, but didn't, but did. Half and half. So down this end, it's most sparkle, but there is colour up in under here that can be seen. A little bit more weaker, violet-y shades of purple. But yeah, so there we go. Not too bad. take a while to make. Unfortunately, not worth a lot more. It would be good for the effort, but yeah, for what they were, I don't think they really had a value bar specimen, and so now they can be put into some jewellery. So I hope you like it, Susan. And everyone else, I hope you enjoyed. Cheers.